Alright guys, I am back, and here is the final part of my top 20 favorite horror films from the 1990s. So, before we get on to the top 10, let's recap from where we left off at. Number 20, Cube. 19, The Relic. 18, In the Mouth of Madness. 17, It. 16, Flatliners. 15, Demon Knight. 14, Resurrection. 13, Tremors. 12, Dead Alive. And 11, Pete the People Under the Stairs. So let's continue on. Coming in at number 10 would have to be Ravenous with Guy Pearce. A really great movie about cannibals, and you know, it's a really cool film. If you enjoy like movies about cannibals or things like that, you should definitely check out Ravenous. Guy Pearce, David Arquette, Jeffrey Jones, Robert Carlyle, I think that's how you say his name. Really enjoyed Ravenous a lot. Ravenous is just a great movie. Okay. Number 9 is a film that I don't think many people would agree with being on my list, because I don't think this. I think this film gets hated on nowadays. But I remember when I first saw this on cable when I was in middle school, and I always really enjoyed this film ever since I first saw it on TV. And I just think this is a really solid creature film as well. My number 9 is Anaconda. Anaconda, I always really enjoyed. I think it was the really fun creature film. It has a really recognizable cast. Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, Jon Voight, Eric Stoltz, Jonathan Hyde, Owen Wilson, Carrie Wooer. Hey, you even have, I believe, Danny Trejo in the very beginning of the film as well. I love the whole setting and like the whole jungle area and all that stuff. I just think Anaconda is a really solid flick. I always really enjoyed Anaconda. Yeah, I always really enjoyed Anaconda, but that's why it's definitely my number 9. Definitely a film that I watched a lot in middle school, among other stuff. Coming in at number 8 is, without a doubt, one of my personal favorite vampire films. This was another one I remember watching in middle school a lot. When I mentioned Anaconda, I watched Anaconda among other stuff when I was in middle school. This was another one that I watched a lot. From Dusk Till Dawn. I always really enjoyed From Dusk Till Dawn. Really enjoyed this film a lot. One of my personal favorite vampire films. It's directed by Robert Rodriguez, George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, Harvey Keitel, Juliette Lewis, Cheech Marin, Fred Williamson, Salma Hayek. Yeah, this is just a really fun, entertaining vampire film with a lot of action, a lot of good stuff from Dusk Till Dawn. Really love this film. Coming in at number 7 would be The Mangler, which I've talked about already before too, but I really enjoy The Mangler a lot. I like Ted Levine, I like Robert Englund. Yeah, it's a really crazy premise, but I enjoyed it for that, and I love the third act when the machine comes to life and it cuts a guy in half and it spits fireballs and they perform an exorcism on it. And yeah, it's just, they just go for the kitchen sink and they just go over the top with it. I love it. That's why The Mangler is my number 7. Coming in at number 6 would have to be Bats, which I actually have the poster over here, which I'm pretty sure you've seen when I did my movie room tour. I always really enjoyed Bats. It's a film that I remember a lot from my childhood. I only saw the PG-13 cut. I didn't see the R-rated cut back then because I was, you know, when I first started watching horror films, I started doing like PG-13 horror films and then like that. But I didn't see the R-rated cut until like much later. And I know it gets hated on a lot. I don't really understand why. It's got pretty good practical effects. I like Lou Diamond Phillips in the film. I really enjoy Dina Meyer. I like Leon, Bob Goonson from The Shawshank Redemption, among other stuff as well. I always thought Bats was a fun creature film. I remember having very fond memories of all the advertisements of the movie. I remember one time when I was in, because this came out around '99, so I was in about pre-K kindergarten when that came out, and I remember in the play yard that the kids played in, we were outside for recess one day, and a bus would always, like once in a while, a bus would come down the street from where my school was, and they had a poster of Bats on the bus. They were advertising it, and I always remember one of the moderators of recess looked at the sign on the bus advertising the movie, and she was like, "Why is the title upside down? That's really weird, isn't it?" Well, I'm thinking to myself, well, Bats hang upside down. That's why the title's like that. But that's a funny story that I figured I'd bring up. But I always really enjoyed Bats. I think it's a fun film. Coming in at number 5 would have to be Stir of Echoes. Easily one of my favorite Kevin Bacon films, where it was kind of like The Sixth Sense, where a guy can see dead people. But Stir of Echoes was always a really creepy one, and I really like the supporting cast members as well. The Stir of Echoes, I mean, it's so underrated. It doesn't really get talked about a lot as much as The Sixth Sense does. But I really like Stir of Echoes. Question. I keep thinking of the tag I just did recently, but coming in at number 4 would be Event Horizon. A really creepy film with Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill. Kathleen Quinlan's in the film as well. This is directed by Paul Anderson. Before he was known for the Resident Evil films, did Event Horizon and Mortal Kombat. And Event Horizon I really enjoy. It's a really creepy premise. It's probably one of the creepiest films I ever saw that really got to me. Really love Event Horizon. Coming in at number 3 would have to be Scream, the original Scream from '96. Really fun slasher film with a great cast. You know, I don't think I need to say much more about Scream. It's a pretty popular film that everybody knows about. Question. Thomas, stop thinking of the tag you did. You just did that video. I know. I'm sorry. That's brain fart. I know. Coming in at number 2 would have to be, you're looking at the poster right there, Candyman. That was actually a nice gift that my buddy got me last year. The guy who got this thing, yeah, that's the same friend that got me all these birthday presents this year for my birthday. That was another poster he gave me. That was a nice gift. But Candyman I really enjoy. Candyman, you know, Tony Todd as the Candyman is just so legendary. And it was also one of those films too that really got to me a lot. And it still gets me to this day, you know, the whole with the bees and the whole bathroom scene, you know, the Candyman with the hook for the hand. And Tony Todd just played that character so well. I mean, Candyman's a classic. And my number 1 favorite horror film from the '90s is a film that many people hate. It gets crapped on a lot nowadays. But I seriously don't get the hate for this film. I really don't. Without a doubt, my favorite horror film from the '90s is, without a doubt, The Blair Witch Project. The Blair Witch Project is a film that I always loved. It's one of my personal favorite horror films. I just love this movie so much. I love this film. You know, it still gets me to this day. It's a really well done, documentary style horror film. And I have this on Blu-ray because the DVD I have is pretty messed up because I got it at a pawn shop for really cheap. But I saw this on Blu-ray many years ago at a Best Buy for on sale for about $7.99. So I jumped at the deal and grabbed it. The Blair Witch Project, I love the cast. This cast was really believable. I mean, I really felt for them. I really felt like I was out there with them. You know, it's so well done. I don't understand the hate that this film gets. I just don't get it. I love the Blair Witch Project. So there you have it. Those are my top 20 favorite horror films from the 90s. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright guys, take care.